Up My Coast by Joanne Kiger, Spring 1976. First, there were the first people, and the first people changed into trees, plants, rocks, stars, rain, hail, and animals. And then animals made our people. Light comes from Sun Woman, whose body is covered with shining abalone shells. She came across the Pacific on a raft. So did Coyote. Sun Woman kept on going. Come back! Coyote sent some people to get her back. She wouldn't come back. So Coyote sent enough men to bring her back, whether she wanted to or not. They tied her in ropes and brought her back to make light for her people. She was so bright, it was hard to look at her. The people began to walk around and find things to eat, for now they could see. Moon Man, Coyote Man, and Lizard Man made the people. They argued a lot. Moon Man gave people his head, but Coyote Man said he should have paws, just like him. But how can he take hold of things? Said Lizard Man, thankfully winning his point, and gave us 5 fingers, just like his own. Coyote was pissed, and he's still hunting the lizard. When the first person died, Lizard Man felt real bad, and set to work to bring him back to life. But Meadowlark came and drove him away, saying, "People no good, people smell. When they die, they better stay dead." Robin brought the fire. He traveled a long way to get it, and every night on the way back he lay with his breast on it to keep it warm. It turned his breast red. He gave fire to the people, and put some into the buckeye tree, so they could get it whenever they needed it. Just rub the buckeye stick against a dry wood stick. This makes the flame come out. Hummingbird brought the fire too. Just look under his chin. Coyote was sitting on top of Sonoma Peak, and the earth was all covered with water. He got there from across the ocean on his raft of tools and split sticks. A feather comes floating up from the west too. "Hi, who are you?" And the feather doesn't answer. So Coyote tells him all about his families and friends and what's happening. And the feather leaps up and says, "I'm Falcon. Weck, weck, your grandson. Wow." So they talk every day, and after a while, Coyote Man notices Frog Woman always just jumping out of hand. But the water started to go down after 4 days, and it took her longer to leap to the water. So Coyote Man caught her. And when he got her, imagine her surprise. She was his own wife. From over the ocean, small world. Then Coyote Man took a bunch of feathers of different kinds to the top of Sonoma Peak and threw them into the air. And the wind carried them off and scattered them around, and the next day there were people all over the land. Coyote Man brought the big clam to make shell money and planted it at Bodega Bay. This the place and the only place where the big clam was in the beginning. Wherever else you find it now, the seed came from here. The Tamales Bay people got their seed from here. Meadowlark Man can be a pain in the ass. He already said people couldn't come to life again on the 3rd or 4th day, and he talks too much and gossips and says awful things to the people. He says, "I know what you're up to. You're really stingy. You're only dark on the outside. Under your skin, you're as white and mean as a white man." When people die, their ghost crosses the ocean over the path of the wind to the village of the dead. Sometimes they come back and dance in the roundhouse. You can't see them, but you can hear them. So that was Joanne Kiger, Up My Coast. Joanne Kiger has been a big influence on my poetry, along with other poets like Philip Whalen, coming from the same kind of aesthetic. I think it's her light touch, how she's able to have a light touch along the surface and use everyday things, and sometimes get to more what some might call more meaningful things. But of course, playing with that surface depth kind of thing. And her playfulness, definitely her playfulness. Her playfulness with mythology, which of course is already playful. So yeah, and the gregariousness, the generosity towards the reader as well. I'm going to read a little bit from a collection, one piece from a collection, and it's a kind of between a flash fiction and prose poem about the beaver, sort of. This piece was written in Katowice, southern Poland, last Christmas, 2012. I was there visiting my girlfriend's parents for Christmas, and I had a little room in the front room, in the corner. In that little room, I had a little wooden chair, and I sat on the little wooden chair, and there were snowmen all around me blinking with their little Christmas lights, and lots of Russian dolls on the shelves. And I sat on that little chair and thought about my experiences that I was having in Poland at Christmas time. And I thought about beavers. So like Joanne Kiger, and also not really like Joanne Kiger, I kind of employed the mythological, but in a playful way. So also on that day, I should mention, I got a t-shirt from my sister from Utah, a black t-shirt. My sister lives in Utah, and she sent me this t-shirt, and I wore it in Poland on Christmas Day. And the t-shirt said, "I love beaver." So this little piece is called I Love Beaver. "Do you like?" asks beaver number one. Marek replies, he likes. They talk about the fish. The fish are in a bowl. Next to the bowl are 4 small cups. The cups are filled with walnut fire. The walnuts come from the family farm. The fire comes from Biedronka. Biedronka means ladybug in Polish. After the fire, they fish a fish from the glass bowl. The fish is filled with garlic. It helps the walnut fire. After 5 shots, the beavers switch on the telly. The telly is mounted to the wall. It is a giant telly. The telly has internet. The beavers go to YouTube. They find Gangnam Style. It is time to party. Gangnam Style is in Polish. Some of the beavers freeze their nuts. Others have no nuts to freeze. Some worship the beaver god. They break the beaver wafers and drink the beaver wine. All of the beavers work their chest. Their chests are zajebistia. Zajebistia means fucking great in Polish. The beavers are zajebistia. Marek loves the beavers. He watches the beavers and drinks the walnut fire. He chews the garlic fish. He gets a t-shirt. It is a black t-shirt. The t-shirt says, I love beaver.